There's a quiet magic in the way women weave their lives with others. A dance of intuition and emotion that catches the faintest shifts in the air. They hear the unspoken in your voice, feel the warmth of your presence, and notice the chill when it fades. As a young American philosopher, a voice for women's strength, and a storyteller shaped by psychology and linguistics, I've spent years exploring this intricate tapestry, drawing from Stoic wisdom and the real struggles of women I've met like Maria, a single mother from Chicago who found her ex's absence in the stillness of her mornings, or Aisha, a New York teacher who missed her brother's steady hand during a crisis. I've uncovered 10 profound reasons her heart turns to you when you're gone. This isn't about tricks or fleeting games. It's about the power of authentic connection, a presence so meaningful that its absence reshapes her world, especially for women rising above societal chains. Let's journey together through these reasons, each a thread in the fabric of longing, each a testament to how women's resilience and depth amplify what's missing. Picture Elena, a nurse in Los Angeles, whose days lost their rhythm when her friend's morning text stopped, or Priya, a Seattle writer whose quiet desk echoed with her partner's lost laughter. These stories, rooted in truth, reveal a universal truth. A woman often discovers your worth not in your pursuit, but in the unexpected silence that follows. Here's why, and how understanding this can shift the way she sees you forever. The disruption of her daily life. Routines are the heartbeat of a woman's life, subtle yet vital, stitching together moments of stability amid chaos. For women, whose emotional radar often guides them through a world that demands so much, these patterns aren't just habits, they're lifelines. As a philosopher steeped in Stoicism, I see them as fleeting threads in life's grand weave, fragile yet profound. When someone integral to those rhythms steps away, the pulse falters, and the void speaks louder than words ever could. Think of Elena, the nurse I mentioned, who began each shift with a friend's text, "Rise and shine, warrior." It was a small ritual, barely noticed until the morning her phone stayed silent. That quiet hit her like a wave, unraveling the comfort she'd woven into her days. Or consider Priya, the writer whose late-night draft once hummed with her partner's playful critiques. When he left, the stillness of her desk wasn't just absence, it was a mirror, reflecting how deeply he'd shaped her creative flow. These disruptions aren't mere inconveniences, they're awakenings, stirring a nostalgia that lingers in the bones. Women, often the unsung architects of connection, feel these shifts with a clarity that cuts through the noise. Stoicism teaches us that life's impermanence ties us to others more than we know. When you're there, be present with purpose, share laughter that echoes, offer gestures that warm, hold conversations that matter. I recall Sarah, an entrepreneur I counseled in Portland, who missed her mentor's simple question, "How's your day going?" It wasn't grand advice she longed for, but that quiet curiosity, a thread now frayed in her routine. Picture her morning coffee, once spared with your goofy quips, now a solitary sip that tastes of silence. Or the Thursday night show you watch together, now a screen she faces alone, its laughter hollow without your voice. These aren't just moments, they're markers of your presence, amplified in their absence. For women like Maria, who rebuilt her life after divorce, the lack of her ex's quirky coffee rituals turned her kitchen into a stage for longing. It's not about forcing her to notice you. It's about being so genuinely woven into her days that the unraveling leaves her breathless. This isn't manipulation, it's meaning. Stoics remind us to bring our best selves to every encounter, not for reward, but for the sake of virtue. Be the light in her dawn, the calm in her dusk. When I met Jasmine, a dancer in Atlanta, she spoke of her grandmother's habit of humming while cooking breakfast. After her passing, the kitchen's silence became a hymn of loss. Your presence, when rich with authenticity, doesn't demand attention, it earns it, leaving a ripple that stirs her soul when the tide pulls you away. The echo of emptiness. Loneliness is a shadow that follows us all, but for women, it often carries a weight sharpened by their emotional depth. As a psychologist, I've seen how solitude can turn a woman's gaze inward, pulling her toward memories of being truly understood. Stoicism doesn't fight loneliness, it embraces it as a teacher, revealing the contours of our bonds. When she's alone, her heart drifts to those rare souls who saw her, held her, knew her, and often, that's you. Take Jasmine, the dancer from Atlanta, who faced long nights after a breakup. She didn't miss her ex's constant chatter, but the quiet evenings brought back how he'd sit beside her, letting her unravel without a word. That stillness, once a backdrop, became a cavern she couldn't fill. Or think of Leela, a student in Boston, adrift in a noisy dorm. It was her sister's late-night whispers, raw, vulnerable, shared under a blanket that surfaced in her solitude, making the distance ache like a bruise. Women, whose strength often blooms in quiet resilience, feel these echoes with a piercing clarity. Stoicism urges us to connect deeply, not just often. When you listen without judgment, laugh with abandon, or offer a space for her fears, you etch yourself into her soul. I spoke with Maya, a poet in New Orleans, who missed her father's notes scribbled encouragements left on her desk. Years after he moved, those scraps haunted her lonely nights, proof that genuine care lingers like ink on skin. Imagine those nights you spent dreaming under stars, your words weaving a cocoon of trust, or the times you sat in silence, her tears falling without critique. These aren't passing scenes, they're anchors, roots that dig deep. When she's alone in a world that skims the surface, your absence sharpens those roots into longing. I met Nadia, a designer in Miami, who recalled her friend's habit of texting her poetry during tough weeks. After they drifted, the quiet of her inbox became a void she couldn't name. Stoicism knows life's moments fade, making them precious. For women like Aisha, the teacher who faced a school crisis solo, her brother's steady calls once held her together. Without them, loneliness wasn't just empty, it was a spotlight on what she'd lost. Be that light, that stillness, that truth. You don't force her to miss you, you become the echo she can't shake, a presence that dances in her solitude with unshakable grace. She feels unnoticed. In a world that races past, women often bear the silent load of being unseen, a legacy of centuries spent proving their worth. As a feminist philosopher, I've traced this thread through history, from silenced voices to quiet triumphs. When someone truly notices her, her moods, her victories, her unspoken battles, it's a lifeline in a sea of neglect. Stoicism calls us to mindfulness, to the now, and its absence can awaken her to what she's lost. Consider Nadia, the Miami designer, whose colleague once spotted her late-night fatigue and brought her coffee and asked. When he left, her long days grew heavier, missing that quiet recognition. Or think of Chloe, a Denver mom, whose brother cheered her smallest parenting wins. His move abroad left her efforts uncelebrated, stirring a hunger for his gaze. Women, shaped by a society that often overlooks them, feel this void like a cut. Your presence emotional, not just there, can be a rare gift. Stoics know the present is all we hold. When you see her struggles, lift her joys, or sit with her silence, you shine. I met Tara, a chef in Portland, who missed her partner's questions about her dishes. His exit left her creations unshared, a mute testament to his care. For women like Maria, whose ex once greeted her shifts with a knowing smile, that absence turned her homecoming into a shadow play. Picture her after a draining day, once met by your glance and a warm hug, now facing the quiet alone. Your knack for sensing her, for offering what she needed, a word, a touch, a pause was gold in a distracted age. I counseled Sophia, a teacher in Phoenix, who longed for her friend's habit of texting after tough classes. Without it, her victories felt small. Stoicism doesn't cling, but its loss reveals its depth. Be that rare soul who sees her, and your absence will whisper her worth back to her. She holds others to the standard you set. Relationships are mirrors, reflecting what we cherish most. As a storyteller, I've watched women, often the glue of their worlds, weigh others against those who've left a mark. Stoicism sees this without pride, urging us to live true. When she meets new faces, your imprint, your laugh, your care becomes the measure, a quiet echo of your worth. Think of Sophia, the Phoenix teacher, dating after a split. Her new date was sweet, but she thought, he doesn't catch my humor like you did. Your wit, once her daily spark, set a bar others stumbled over. Or picture Amara, a Houston lawyer whose friends' support dimmed next to her sister's fierce loss, cool loyalty. That contrast kept her sister's absence alive, a standard unmet. Women, whose resilience binds communities, feel these gaps instinctively. Stoicism says your virtues, your quirks, your strength define you. Be yourself, not a ghost of another. I advised Lena, an Austin musician who missed her ex's quiet cheers at gigs. New friends clapped, but none matched his vibe, leaving her yearning. For Priya, the writer, her partner's critiques once fueled her. New voices paled, and his echo lingered. When she's with someone new, laughing at a flat joke or seeking the ear you lent, your standard holds. Stoicism shuns validation, but authenticity leaves a scar. Your independence, your rooted presence, sets you apart. I met Rosa, a nurse in Dallas, whose brother's steady hand outshone new friends. She didn't just miss him, she missed the rare bond he forged, a legacy others couldn't touch. Witnessing happy couples, love's glow can pierce a woman's heart, stirring what's lost. As a writer for women's strength, I've seen how joyful pairs awaken old joys. Stoicism calls these moments reflections, not wounds, reminders of life's fleeting gifts. For her, seeing couples in sync can spotlight your absence, kindling a fire of longing. Imagine Fatima, a San Francisco barista, watching a duo laugh over coffee. It pulled her to mornings with her ex, swapping tales over breakfast. That mirth, once hers, now felt far. Or think of Rosa, the Dallas nurse, seeing hands clasped in the park. It echoed walks with her brother, a tie she didn't prize until he left. Women, keepers of memory, feel these sparks deeply. Stoicism bids us grow through them, not chase. Be the joy, the calm, the hand she held. I met Zoe, a Brooklyn artist, who missed her partner's silly dances at parties. Couples swaying now tugged her heart, a nod to his light. For Aisha, the teacher, the pair's shared glance recalled her brother's support, now a distant star. Picture her at a CF, their look pulling her to nights you dreamed aloud. Those times, once simple, now gleam. By thriving chasing passions, radiating peace, you fan that flame. Stoicism doesn't grasp, but it honors. Your growth, your quiet power, makes her see what's gone, not by force, but by the truth of who you are. She faces emotional turmoil. Life's tempests test us, and for women, they unearth anchors once leaned on. As a psychologist, I've seen chaos draw them to past steadiness. Stoicism views trials as chances to shine, not sway others. When she's lost, your absence, say, once sure harbor cuts deep. Consider Amina, a Detroit social worker, facing a family storm alone. She missed her friend's calm voice, a balm in past woes. That gap sharpened her need. Or reflect on Clara, a Minneapolis student, low after a failed test. She craved her mom's hugs, a comfort she'd undervalued till distance grew. Women, often pillars for others, seek solidity in strife. Stoicism calls us to be that patient, kind, firm. I advised Leela, a Charlotte manager, who missed her ex's stress-easing laughs. His absence in a hard season left her grasping. For Maria, her ex's steady hand once guided her. Without it, turmoil roared. When she's adrift, your past aid laughter through tears. Clarity in fog stands tall. Stoicism doesn't mend her, it offers presence. Be her haven, and your legacy haunts her storms. I met Tara, the chef, whose partner's calm words once soothed her. Alone, she missed that peace. She doesn't just miss you, she misses the strength you gave. A void that sings your worth. She faces social events without you. Gatherings are stages, and for women, your absence dims the lights. As a linguist, I've traced how shared times shape our tales. Stoicism sharpens value through loss. Without you, those nights lose their fire, marking your unique role. Think of Isabella, an Orlando marketer, at a party solo. She missed her friend's banter, once the soul of every room. The night dulled without it. Or imagine Hannah, a San Diego designer, at a dinner missing her sister's calm. The talk rang empty. Women, often social glue, notice these shifts keenly. Stoicism bids us hone our best wit, warmth, poise. I met Nora, a Nashville bartender, who missed her ex's knack for lifting awkward nights. His absence muted every scene. For Sophia, her friend's energy once lit gatherings. Now they flickered. Picture her at a bash, once alive with your spark, now a shadow of that joy. Your humor, your steadiness, made it sing. By growing, staying true, you deepen that loss. Stoicism doesn't seek cheers, it earns them. Your thriving, subtly shown, rekindles her memory of your flame. When she discovers your achievements, success turns heads, especially when it's yours. As a storyteller, I've seen a woman's pride in your wins twist to longing when she's sidelined. Stoicism sees growth as ours, not a gauge, yet its light can stir her. Imagine Olivia, a Raleigh clerk, hearing of her ex's rise. She recalled nights dreaming of his goals together. Now, his win felt remote, a pang of old joy. Or think of Keisha, a Memphis stylist, learning her brother launched a venture. She missed cheering his steps close. Women often dream whereas. Feel this sharp. Stoicism emerges quiet growth, not show. I counseled Tia, a Cleveland nurse, who missed her friends' art updates. Her gallery news hit hard, a tie to shared hopes. For Priya, her partner's writing wins once thrilled her, now they ached. When she hears of your climb a job, a passion chased it pulls her to when she shared your orbit. Your grit, your aim, shine. Stoicism's amor fat, I loving fate makes your path pull. You don't flaunt, you rise. That quiet stride whispers your worth, making her miss the bond she left. Understanding her own mistakes. Reflection is a woman's quiet power, replaying life's sterns. As a philosopher, I've seen it spark self-awareness, a stoic virtue. When she traces your story's end, seeing her roll miss chances, harsh words it stirs a deep ache for what was. Picture Nadia, alone, rethinking her friend's exit. She saw her own coldness, once ignored, and longed for his warmth. Or think of Leela, the manager, who pushed her ex away with silence. Seeing it now, she missed his patience. For Amina, her friend's steady hand faded through her neglect. Reflection cut deep. Women, often introspective, feel this shift. Stoicism bids us own our part, grow. Be patient, not preachy, let her see. I advised Rosa, whose brother left after her distance. His thriving stung, showing her loss. Your strength, your calm, mirror her missteps. When she sees her hand in your absence, your worth dawns. Stoicism doesn't force, it reveals. Live true, and her clarity will pull her back, not by guile, but by the man you've become. Nostalgia triggered by unexpected kindness. Kindness from others can spark a woman's memory of you. As a writer, I've seen simple acts recall your care. Stoicism focuses on our deeds, not their echo, yet your past shines through. Imagine Era, thanked by a co-worker, recalling her ex's snacks after hard days. That thoughtfulness lingered. Or think of Zoe, gifted flowers by a friend, missing her partner's quiet support. For Maria, a stranger's decode her ex's small gifts, stirring old warmth. Women, attuned to care, feel this pull. Stoicism bids us act with virtue, not aim. Your attentiveness knowing her needs, lifting her stays. I met Leela, whose friend's note recalled her sister's letters. Kindness elsewhere sharpened that loss. When others shine, your light glows brighter. Stoicism doesn't chase, it builds. Be true, and your care will haunt her, not by force, but by its rare, deep truth.